Hello and welcome to Deep Dive from SmartBookWorms, where we dive deep into recently released books from authors you love to read. My name is Amanda, your virtual book guru. In today's episode, we'll be diving deep into a deep dive for In Too Deep by Lee and Andrew Child. Another Jack Reacher adventure, or should that be misadventure? Today, I'm accompanied by the knowledgeable virtual book guru, Martina. So let's dive deep into today's deep dive, In Too Deep by Lee and Andrew Child.
The mystery surrounding Reacher's amnesia. The amnesia mystery in the story revolves around Jack Reacher, who wakes up in a wrecked Lincoln Navigator with a broken wrist, a headache, and no memory of how he got there. This amnesia forces him to rely on others for information, a departure from his typical hyper-observant, self-reliant nature. This situation creates a sense of suspense as readers try to piece together what happened along with Reacher, questioning the reliability of the information he is given. Vidic's role and the question of identity. The mystery is compounded by the presence of Ivan Vidic, a character who seems to know more than he lets on. Initially, he claims to have witnessed Reacher intervening in an attempted carjacking of the Lincoln, and even provides Reacher with a Glock 17, supposedly recovered from the wreckage. This detail further blurs the lines between good and evil, raising questions about Vidic's true intentions and the origin of the gun, the art theft ring, and its implications. The novel reveals that the Lincoln belonged to Gibson, an undercover FBI agent who had infiltrated an art theft ring led by Fletcher. This ring is highly organized and operates out of a remote house, stashing stolen art in a hidden cave. The discovery of the art theft ring adds another layer of complexity to the mystery, as Reacher now has to contend with a dangerous criminal organization while struggling with amnesia. Vidic's betrayal and the missing report. The plot thickens when it's revealed that Vidic is actually part of Fletcher's crew and is planning to double-cross everyone. He intends to disappear with a valuable report and a large sum of money. This revelation forces Reacher to reevaluate everything he has been told and operate in an environment where he can't trust anyone, not even his own memories. The missing report adds another layer of intrigue, as its contents and potential consequences remain unknown. Shifting alliances and the search for truth. As Reacher tries to piece together his memories, he finds himself in a world of shifting alliances and hidden agendas. He crosses paths with Paris, another member of Fletcher's organization, who suspects Vidic's betrayal. The story becomes a complex game of chess, where the characters' motivations and allegiances are constantly in question. The significance of the FBI's involvement. The FBI's involvement in the story raises questions about the nature of intelligence and its potential for manipulation. The fact that the FBI has its own agenda further complicates the mystery and underscores the theme of mistrust that permeates the narrative. The importance of the ending. The story's ending is crucial in finally revealing the truth about the missing report and its connection to nuclear weapons. This revelation highlights the high stakes involved and the far-reaching consequences of Vidic's actions. It also prompts a deeper reflection on the themes of trust, betrayal, and the delicate balance of power in a world where information is a potent weapon.
A closer look at the art theft ring. The book depicts a sophisticated art theft ring led by Fletcher, which is far from a typical group of thieves. They are highly organized and operate out of a remote house, concealing stolen art and valuables in a hidden cave in the Ozarks. The group's activities include stealing a wide range of valuable items. Their targets include paintings, sculptures, industrial diamonds, and precious metals. Employing a network of specialists, the ring includes members like O'Connell, who handled logistics and transportation of the art, and Paris, who managed finances and computer systems, shifting from legitimate copies to forgeries. The group initially produced copies for collectors, but gradually transitioned into creating forgeries for galleries, engaging in violence and intimidation. Fletcher's arrival brought a more aggressive approach, leading to disputes, violence, and the death of O'Connell and a security guard. The ring's structure and operations highlight their meticulous planning and execution. Evolution of the ring's activities. Over time, the group's operations evolved from simple art theft and forgery to more complex and dangerous ventures. The turning point seems to be Fletcher's entry, which brought a focus on stealing directly from the art world. Unlike their earlier focus on collectors and galleries, Fletcher aimed to target and steal from individuals within the art world itself, utilizing violence and muscle. Kane was brought in as muscle, highlighting the increasing violence associated with the ring's activities. Expanding into cybercrime. Vidic and Paris develop a side operation focused on hacking and blackmailing individuals and companies, demonstrating a shift towards more sophisticated criminal activities. Internal conflicts and betrayals. The narrative emphasizes the internal conflicts and betrayals within the art theft ring, adding another layer of complexity to their operations. Vidic's betrayal and hidden agenda. Vidic pretends to be a victim, but is actually part of the crew and ultimately plans to double-cross everyone, disappearing with a valuable report and stolen money. Gibson's undercover role. Gibson's undercover status as an FBI agent creates tension and raises questions about his interactions with the ring's members. Suspicions and mistrust. The constant threat of betrayal permeates the narrative, with characters like Paris becoming suspicious of Vidic's motives and actions. The shifting alliances, hidden agendas, and constant threat of betrayal within the ring keep the reader engaged and guessing throughout the story.
A look into Reacher's impaired memory. The novel portrays Reacher's memory as being significantly impaired, causing him to grapple with a lack of recollection about his past and recent events. This amnesia is a crucial plot device that forces Reacher into a vulnerable position, a stark contrast to his typically hyper-observant and self-reliant nature. The extent of the memory loss. Reacher's amnesia is severe, leaving him with no memory of the car crash, his interactions with Gibson, or any events leading up to his current predicament. He finds himself waking up in a wrecked car, facing a series of events he cannot explain. Impact on Reacher's abilities. This memory loss significantly hampers his ability to assess situations and make informed decisions. He is forced to rely on others for information, which makes him skeptical and cautious. Partial recovery and triggers. As the story progresses, Reacher experiences flashes of memory triggered by specific sights, sounds, or situations. For instance, returning to the crash site triggers a memory of Gibson's reaction before the accident. A sudden movement by night also triggers a memory of Gibson looking into his rearview mirror. These fragmented memories suggest the possibility of a gradual recovery. Persistent gaps in memory. Despite these glimpses of the past, Reacher's memory remains largely incomplete, leaving him with a sense of unease and a relentless drive to uncover the truth. He experiences a feeling of being watched or followed, although he cannot recall the source of this feeling. This persistent amnesia drives his actions throughout the story as he seeks to fill in the gaps and understand what truly transpired. Memory as a source of suspense. The mystery surrounding Reacher's memory loss contributes to the overall suspense of the narrative. Readers are kept guessing alongside Reacher, questioning the motives of those around him and the events leading up to the car crash. The book suggests that while Reacher's memory is impaired, it is not entirely lost. The possibility of further recovery remains open, with clues and triggers potentially leading to a full restoration of his memories.
A web of hidden identities, deception and mistrust. The story presents a complex narrative woven with hidden identities, where characters operate under false pretenses and motives are constantly in question. This atmosphere of deception and mistrust permeates every aspect of the story, creating a sense of unease and suspense. Vidic's multiple facades and true allegiance. Ivan Vidic embodies the theme of hidden identities, masterfully crafting a facade of helpfulness while concealing his true allegiance. Initially, he presents himself as a concerned witness to the car crash, offering Reacher assistance and information. However, the sources gradually unveil his true nature as a cunning manipulator with a hidden agenda. A calculated performance. Vidic's initial act of aiding Reacher, providing him with a Glock 17 supposedly recovered from the crash, is a calculated performance designed to gain Reacher's trust and deflect suspicion. Member of the art theft ring. The revelation that Vidic is a member of Fletcher's art theft ring exposes his deceptive nature. He feigns ignorance while actively participating in the group's illicit activities. Ultimate betrayal. Vidic's ultimate goal is to betray Fletcher and escape with a valuable report and a substantial sum of money, showcasing his willingness to exploit others for personal gain. Vidic's deceptive persona exemplifies the theme of hidden identities, highlighting the difficulty of discerning truth from falsehood in a world where appearances can be deceiving. Gibson's undercover operation and uncertain fate. Gibson, the undercover FBI agent, operates under a hidden identity, infiltrating Fletcher's art theft ring to gather evidence and expose their operations. However, the true circumstances surrounding his death remain ambiguous, leaving his motivations and actions open to interpretation. Concealed identity. Gibson's role as an undercover agent necessitates a hidden identity, posing as a member of the criminal organization while secretly working for the FBI. Unclear death. While his death is initially presented as an accident, suspicions arise about the possibility of foul play. The presence of a Glock 17, potentially belonging to an FBI agent, raises questions about the true nature of his demise. Manipulated information. The possibility that Vidic fabricated information about Gibson's involvement with the FBI adds another layer of complexity to his hidden identity and the circumstances surrounding his death. The blurring of lines between good and evil. The novel blurs the lines between good and evil, making it challenging to categorize characters neatly into heroes and villains. Reacher's uncertain role. Reacher's amnesia casts doubt on his past actions and motivations. The reader is left wondering about his history and how he became entangled in the current situation. Moral ambiguity of the art theft ring. While undeniably criminals, certain members of the ring, like Paris, exhibit moments of compassion and struggle with their own moral dilemmas. The FBI's hidden agenda. The FBI's involvement is not solely focused on justice. Their desire to protect national secrets and maintain control over the narrative introduces a layer of secrecy and manipulation that complicates their role as a force for good. Impact of hidden identities on trust and perception. The prevalence of hidden identities in the sources creates a pervasive atmosphere of mistrust and suspicion, forcing characters and readers alike to question motivations and carefully analyze every interaction. Reacher's skepticism. Reacher's amnesia makes him inherently distrustful of the information he receives. He constantly scrutinizes the actions of others, aware that their true intentions may be concealed. Shifting alliances. The constantly shifting alliances between characters, driven by hidden agendas and self-preservation, make it difficult to discern genuine partnerships from calculated manipulations. challenges in uncovering the truth. The presence of multiple layers of deception makes the pursuit of truth a complex and challenging endeavor, requiring careful observation and strategic maneuvering to unveil the hidden realities behind the carefully crafted facades. The book highlights the theme of hidden identities, underlining the importance of scrutinizing appearances, questioning motives, and acknowledging that truth often lies beneath the surface of carefully constructed personas.
Examining moral ambiguity. The book presents a morally ambiguous world where characters operate in shades of gray rather than stark black and white. The line between right and wrong is blurred, forcing both the characters and the reader to confront challenging ethical dilemmas. The complexity of Reacher's morality. Reacher, often portrayed as a champion of justice, operates within a morally ambiguous space. His methods are unorthodox, and he does not shy away from violence when deemed necessary. A pragmatic approach to justice. Reacher's pursuit of justice is often driven by pragmatism rather than strict adherence to the law. He bends rules and operates outside traditional legal frameworks to achieve his objectives. Justification of violence. While capable of brutality, Reacher's violence is often framed as a necessary response to the evil he encounters. He views it as a tool to protect the innocent and restore balance. Uncertain past. Reacher's amnesia adds another layer of ambiguity to his moral compass. The reader is left wondering about his past actions and whether they align with his current sense of justice. Despite his unorthodox methods, Reacher's actions often serve a greater good, raising questions about the limits of acceptable behavior in the pursuit of justice. This inherent contradiction within his character adds to his complexity and makes him a morally ambiguous figure. Moral compromises within the art theft ring. The novel depicts the members of the art theft ring as more than just stereotypical criminals, highlighting their internal struggles and moral compromises. Paris's internal conflict. Paris, while actively involved in criminal activities, displays moments of compassion and expresses regret for the violence associated with the group. Gibson's motives. Gibson's role as an undercover agent places him in a morally ambiguous position. He is forced to participate in illegal activities and potentially compromise his own values to gather evidence. Vidic's betrayal and justification. While Vidic is clearly motivated by greed and self-preservation, he attempts to justify his betrayal by highlighting the negative aspects of Fletcher and Kane's leadership. These instances of moral compromise within the criminal organization complicate their portrayal, forcing the reader to consider the motivations and pressures that lead individuals to cross ethical boundaries. The FBI's questionable tactics. The book challenges the conventional perception of the FBI as a purely righteous force, revealing their willingness to employ morally questionable tactics to achieve their objectives. Manipulation and secrecy. The FBI prioritizes protecting national secrets and controlling the narrative, potentially suppressing information and manipulating evidence to serve their interests. Black bag operations. The use of extrajudicial methods, such as staging Kane's death to prevent a potential leak of sensitive information, demonstrates the FBI's willingness to operate outside the law. These morally ambiguous actions raise concerns about the balance between national security and individual rights and highlight the potential for abuse of power, even within institutions designed to uphold the law. The unreliable narrator and shifting perspectives. The story often presents information from the perspectives of unreliable narrators, further blurring the lines between truth and deception and obscuring clear moral judgments. Reacher's amnesia. Reacher's impaired memory makes him an unreliable narrator, forcing him to rely on potentially biased information from others, leaving the reader to question the accuracy of his perceptions. Vidic's fabrications. Vidic's lies and manipulations make it difficult to discern truth from falsehood, adding a layer of uncertainty to the events and motivations of the characters. Shifting alliances and loyalties. The constantly changing allegiances and betrayals within the narrative make it challenging to identify clear heroes and villains, as characters' motivations are constantly in flux. The lack of a definitive moral authority within the narrative reinforces the theme of moral ambiguity, challenging the reader to form their own judgments based on incomplete and potentially biased information. The impact of moral ambiguity. The book's exploration of moral ambiguity has several significant effects. Heightened suspense. The lack of clear moral boundaries keeps the reader guessing, questioning the motives of the characters and the potential consequences of their actions. Nuance and complexity. Moral ambiguity adds depth and complexity to the characters, showcasing their internal struggles and the difficult choices they face in a world where right and wrong are not always easily defined. Engagement with ethical dilemmas. The novel invites the reader to engage with complex ethical questions, forcing them to consider the justifications for violence, the limits of loyalty, and the potential for corruption within systems of power. By embracing moral ambiguity, the sources create a compelling and thought-provoking narrative that challenges conventional notions of good and evil, encouraging a deeper understanding of the complexities of human behavior and the gray areas that exist in the real world.
And there you have it, In Too Deep by Lee and Andrew Child, another fantastic Reacher adventure. Have you read it? If so, drop a comment below and let us know what you thought. And if you haven't, does this one sound like a must-read for you? If you enjoyed today's deep dive, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more book deep dives, and share this video with your fellow book lovers. Until next time on Deep Dive with SmartBookWorms, keep reading, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next one.